gentrification in the west side of Atlanta? What? What is gentrification and why is it so important to know about? Gentrification in the west side is almost like a double-edged sword. While it may have many benefits to the community around it, it can also displace current residents. While it may, positive revitalization is revitalizing an area without negatively affecting the residents. Examples of this are providing affordable housing as well as new, nicer amenities in the area, and removing negative areas and adding places that benefit the local residents and don't just appeal to people that don't live in the area. This brings up an important question. How might we revitalize the west side without displacing residents? To begin to even answer this question, I talked to some current adult residents of the west side. One of such residents is Devoted Lee, also known as Miss D. She's a longtime resident of the west side. She has lived in the west side for over 20 years with her siblings and now owns a cafe/restaurant in the West End. She's recently begun to notice some of the changes going on, such as new people moving into the neighborhood solely for certain amenities such as the Beltline. People who are moving there are on a higher socioeconomic status, so as a result, the home value around the Beltline has increased greatly, and people who are renting are no longer able to afford their homes. She wants to benefit from the positives of gentrification without seeing her neighbors displaced as a result. Another person I talked to is Allende Lukman. He works as a police officer, and he's a new member of the West Side. He's only lived there since April 2018, and he lives in the Hunter Hills neighborhood. He, however, wants to be able to benefit off the coming economic prosperity of the area without seeing people around him get negatively impacted by this. I talked to a couple of people who don't live on the west side also, but they are actively involved. Mike Green is a person who works on certain projects in the west side, such as the Gulch. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. And as a result, many people have protested against the Gulch and stuff. So he's also more on the spectrum of he thinks gentrification is a positive thing, but as a result, he thinks we need to provide affordable housing for the people that are being displaced. Another person provided me with resources about the history of the West Side and statistics. One of such resources is a gentrification vulnerability map. It was provided by the Atlanta Regional Commission and a man that I met who works for them named Eric Woodworth. I actually have access to this gentrification vulnerability map, and I'm going to be able to interact with it today. So this is what it looks like. Okay. So this is the gentrification vulnerability map. As you can see, it goes from a range of very high to no vulnerability of gentrification. We can look at certain neighborhoods in the west side. So as you can see, the west side is almost always very high or high in gentrification vulnerability. For instance, the West End is directly in very high status. And places even closer to the city that are in the west side, such as Vine City, are also in very high status. So I'm also going to give you guys a look at other places in Atlanta that have been gentrified and the comparison from 2006 and 2010 to 2010 and 2015. One of such neighborhoods is the Old 4th Ward. As you can see, it has a medium rate of gentrification as of now. But if you look at before, when the Old 4th Ward was like basically the poster child of gentrification in Atlanta in 2006 to 2010, you can see how it has a high and a very high rate of gentrification. This shows the changes. This shows the changes in Atlanta over time, and also you can see the west side from this time period, and how some of it was less gentrified, as there's more just very high and also up here, but now almost every neighborhood in the entire west side is part of gentrification. As a result, I've developed a prototype that's going to help raise awareness to Atlanta citizens about gentrification. It's a video about gentrification that I kind of put together, and I'm going to show to people. So this is the video with the audio on.
I think for long-time residents of these neighborhoods, they have to understand exactly what gentrification is and how it works.
There's kind of somewhat of a positive in a sense starting off because things are offered, we have sustainability programs and so forth, but then as things move and progress and things are more attractive in the area, where we moved into the area, we didn't know all of the things that were coming here. So, but now that things are being, here, gentrification is taking over and things are more attractive, then that other people with other resources are going to want to come here.
At least African Americans moving into these neighborhoods have to understand that we, in a sense, can be gentrifiers too. Typically, the African Americans coming into these neighborhoods are on a higher socioeconomic level than some of the families who lived there for generations. We have to understand that we have to bridge the gap. We're coming into new neighborhoods the same as white people are. And yes, we share the same skin tone, but we might have different backgrounds, different, as I said, socioeconomic levels. And we have to be understanding of that.
End my video. And let's see. These are some of the sources that I have. These, and we have any questions?
Were you sort of aware of this issue before coming to lab?
Mm-hmm.
You were?
Yeah. It's like,
were you very aware of it? Or?
I mean, I got more aware of it as once I came to lab, because, you know, I got the opportunity to study it, but like before coming to lab, I was aware of gentrification in the West End, and also I wanted to, like, you know, make a documentary about something that would, like, pertain to the West Side. Any other questions?
I'm Scott Witcher, okay, we step in. So you mentioned Old Fourth Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Were there lessons, positive or negative, learned about Old Fourth Ward that can apply to the West Side?
Positive and negative. A lot of people who are who know about the Old Fourth Ward, who live in the West Side, they've taken you know, the example of the Old Fourth Ward, how many people have moved in and the area's completely changed. For instance, I think it was 1998. The percentage of non-white residents of Old Fourth Ward was about 89%. Now it's about 49 or 48%. So people in the West Side, since they've already been aware of this, now they're you know, readying up for gentrification. They know like the benefits and also the negatives that are coming with it. So everybody's in the area is kind of use that as an example.
What should we do, or is there are there policies that we should be voting for? Because it's, and the language I'm noticing is can lead, and of course it has led. Like, and so I wonder, what urgency can you give to us, and what would you like us to go forth and tell other people as we leave here today? Maybe that's the best question.
Kind of like support more affordable housing, and like, you know, for instance, you know how the Beltline, the person who created the Beltline, what's his name? I forgot his name. Yeah, Ryan Gravel. So he dropped out of the Beltline project because he wanted to provide affordable housing for people around the Beltline, but as a result, it didn't work out. So like, as I was saying, in the West Side Beltline, a lot of like home value in the area has shot up and not much affordable housing has been made. So I think like you kind of use that as an example and kind of do what he's trying to do now, is build affordable housing for people in the area, and so as a result people don't have to get displaced, or if they do, they have another area to go that's in the vicinity. That's it.